You're cruising down a familiar road when a car starts creeping into your lane. You've got maybe 2 seconds to react. Your body knows what to do. You've practiced emergency braking, you understand countersteering, you've taken the safety course, but your brain freezes. That split-second hesitation, that's what turns a close call into a body bag. I'm talking about the one skill that separates riders who walk away from crashes and riders who become statistics. It's not about your reflexes. It's not about your bike. It's about programming your brain to react before panic takes over. Most riders spend hours practicing in parking lots, but never train the most important part, the 3 pounds of meat between their ears. I'm going to show you the 5-minute daily drill that builds crash-proof mental reflexes. Here's what actually happens when things go sideways. You see the threat. Your brain starts processing. Your body tenses up. And in that crucial half second, you're already behind the curve. The problem isn't that you don't know what to do. The problem is that knowing and doing are two completely different things when your life's on the line. I've watched riders with perfect technique freeze up and target fixate straight into the thing they're trying to avoid. Your brain has 2 modes, thinking mode and survival mode. In thinking mode, you can analyze, plan, execute perfect technique. But the moment real danger hits, your brain switches to survival mode. And survival mode is stupid. It makes you grab a handful of front brake. It makes you stare at the car that's about to hit you instead of looking for an escape route. Fighter pilots figured this out decades ago. They don't rely on natural reactions under stress because natural reactions get you killed. They train what they call muscle memory of the mind, preloaded responses that bypass the panic circuit entirely. Studies show that under extreme stress, your reaction time doubles, sometimes triples. That's the difference between threading the needle and becoming road pizza. But here's what the research also shows. Riders who practice mental rehearsal cut their reaction time by 50% even under maximum stress. Think about the last close call you had. Maybe a car pulled out in front of you. Maybe you hit gravel mid-corner. I bet you knew exactly what you should have done after it was over. Your brain caught up about 3 seconds too late, right? That is because you never rehearsed that specific scenario. You practiced general skills, but you never programmed your brain for that exact moment when everything goes wrong. So when it happened, your brain had to figure it out in real time while it was pumping you full of adrenaline. The gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it kills more riders than mechanical failures, bad weather, and road conditions combined. You can have perfect technique on a closed course, but if you have not mentally rehearsed the chaos of real-world emergencies, you are riding on borrowed time. I have seen riders with 20 years of experience lock up their wheels because they never practiced the mental component. They spent thousands of hours developing physical skills, but 0 minutes training their brain to access those skills under pressure. The worst part, most riders think they are prepared because they took a safety course or practiced emergency stops in a parking lot. But parking lot drills do not replicate the psychological chaos of a real emergency. They do not train your brain to function when it is flooded with stress hormones and your heart rate spikes to 160. Here's what actually works. The technique that turns your brain from a liability into your best safety equipment. Mental rehearsal isn't daydreaming about your next ride. It's not visualizing yourself carving perfect corners or looking cool at bike night. Real mental rehearsal is systematically programming your brain with specific responses to specific threats before they happen. Most riders think mental rehearsal means sitting in your garage, going vroom vroom and imagining yourself as Valentino Rossi. That's fantasy, not training. What I'm talking about is tactical visualization, the same technique that keeps fighter pilots alive when missiles are flying and special forces operators functional when bullets are incoming. Here's how it actually works. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you mentally rehearse a scenario in detail, really see it, feel it, experience the stress, your brain creates the same neural pathways as if you actually lived through it. So when that exact scenario happens for real, your brain does not panic and start problem solving from scratch. It recognizes the situation and fires the preloaded response you've already programmed. Instead of freeze, think, react, you get see, do. That's the difference between life and death at 60 miles per hour. The military breaks this down into something called the OODA Loop: observe, orient, decide, act. In a crisis, whoever completes their OODA loop fastest wins. The person who sees the threat, processes what is happening, decides on a response, and executes that response first. They are the one who walks away. But here's the thing about OODA loops. They take time. Precious time you do not have when a car is pulling out in front of you. Mental rehearsal shortcuts that entire process by preloading the orient and decide phases. You have already processed what this situation means. You have already decided what to do. All that is left is act. The neuroscience behind this is rock solid. When you visualize a scenario repeatedly, you are literally building neural pathways in your brain. The same pathways that would form if you actually experience that scenario over and over. Your brain develops what researchers call procedural memory, the kind of deep programming that happens below conscious thought. This is why 5 minutes of mental rehearsal beats hours of parking lot practice. Parking lot practice teaches your muscles. Mental rehearsal teaches your brain. And in a real emergency, your brain is what is going to save you or get you killed. Fighter pilots do not just practice flying. They spend hours in simulators experiencing every possible failure mode, every emergency scenario, every way things can go catastrophically wrong. They rehearse engine failures, bird strikes, electrical fires, hydraulic loss, over and over until their responses become automatic. When Captain Sully landed that plane in the Hudson River, he did not have time to think through his options and weigh the pros and cons. He had 40 seconds to save 150 lives, but he'd mentally rehearsed that exact scenario hundreds of times. His brain recognized the situation and executed the preloaded response. That's what mental rehearsal does for riders. It turns crisis management into pattern recognition. Instead of your brain freezing and asking, "Oh shit, what do I do?" it recognizes the pattern. Scenario 3. Execute response. B. The research backs this up. Studies of emergency responders show that the ones who survive high-stress situations are not necessarily the strongest or fastest. They are the ones who have mentally rehearsed the most scenarios. Their brains do not waste time figuring out what is happening. They have already been there, done that, at least in their heads. But most riders never do this. They practice their skills, they learn their techniques, but they never program their brain to access those skills when it matters most. That's where the 5-minute daily drill system becomes important. Let me show you exactly how to do this. This isn't complicated, but it has to be specific to work. Generic visualization is worthless. You need to rehearse exact scenarios with exact responses. Step 1 is what I call pre-mortem visualization. Instead of imagining everything going perfectly, you are going to imagine the moment it goes wrong. This feels backward, but it is exactly what keeps you alive. Here's how it works. Pick a scenario. Let's start with the classic left turner at an intersection. Close your eyes. You are approaching a green light at 40 miles per hour. There is a car in the left turn lane. Now visualize that car starting to roll forward. See the wheels turning. Feel that moment when your brain registers that this is happening. Don't just think about it, actually see it. The car's bumper, the driver not looking your way, your speedometer, the distance closing. Make it real enough that your heart rate goes up a little. That stress response is crucial because that is what you are training your brain to function through. Step 2 is programming your if-then scripts. These are simple decision trees that bypass conscious thought. If the car rolls into the intersection, then swerve right and throttle out. If a deer appears in your headlight, then brake hard and aim for where it was, not where it is going. If gravel appears mid-corner, then relax your grip, look through the turn, and steady the throttle. The key is making these scripts specific and automatic. Not a vague instruction like try to avoid the obstacle, but a clear plan. Swerve right, throttle out, look for the exit. Your brain needs concrete actions, not general concepts. Let me walk you through the left turner scenario in detail. You see the car creeping forward. Your if-then script kicks in immediately. Swerve right, get on the throttle, look for your exit. You are not thinking about counter-steering theory or weight transfer. You are executing a preloaded response while scanning for the safest path through. In your mental rehearsal, you feel your hands stay light on the bars. You see yourself looking where you want to go, not at the car. You experience making it through safely and continuing down the road. You are not just rehearsing the emergency response, you are rehearsing success. Now let's do a deer strike. You are on a country road at dusk. Your headlight picks up movement in the trees. A deer bounds into your path. Your script: hard braking, aim for where the deer was, not where it is going. Deer always jump forward, so the empty space behind them is your safe zone. Visualize your hands going to the brakes, both of them, progressively squeezing, not grabbing. See yourself staying upright, tracking toward the rear of the deer, maintaining control. Feel the bike slowing, the weight transferring forward, your body staying loose and reactive. Here's the decreasing radius corner scenario. You enter what looks like a gentle sweeper, but it keeps tightening. Your script: eyes up, look for the exit, trail brake if needed, lean the bike more, trust the tires. Most riders panic and stand the bike up, which guarantees a trip into the weeds. In your mental rehearsal, you feel yourself staying. Be committed to the lean, looking through the turn, using that trail braking to scrub speed while maintaining control. You see the exit appearing, feel the bike tracking cleanly through, experience the satisfaction of reading the road correctly. Step 3 is anchor cues. Simple phrases or actions that trigger your correct responses. Before every ride, say the phrase eyes up, hands light, trust the bike. Before every corner, think, look through, stay loose. These cues prime your brain to access your rehearsed responses instead of defaulting to panic. Practice this off the bike for 5 minutes every day. Pick 3 scenarios. Run through each one twice. Make it vivid, make it stressful, make it real. Your brain will start building those neural pathways immediately. The beauty of the system is it works anywhere. Sitting in traffic, lying in bed, waiting for your coffee to brew. You are programming your survival responses during downtime so they are ready when you need them most. But here is where most riders screw this up completely. They confuse feeling like they are practicing with actually building useful responses. They think they are doing mental rehearsal, but they are actually programming themselves for failure. Mistake number 1. They rehearse the wrong scenarios. They visualize themselves hitting gravel in a parking lot at 15 miles per hour instead of dealing with real-world chaos at highway speeds. They practice scenarios that feel safe and controlled instead of the messy, unpredictable situations that actually kill riders. I watch riders spend hours imagining themselves gracefully handling a low-speed tip over in their driveway. Meanwhile, they have never mentally rehearsed what happens when a semi changes lanes into them on the interstate. You are not going to die from dropping your bike in the garage. You are going to die from the scenario you never thought about. The real killers are the situations that happen fast, under stress, with multiple variables. Left turners at busy intersections. Animals on dark country roads, oil slicks in the middle of sweeping corners. If you are not rehearsing these high-stakes scenarios, you are wasting your time. Mistake number 2. They rehearse panic instead of solutions. They visualize the deer jumping out, and then they imagine themselves freaking out, grabbing brakes, and going down. That is not mental rehearsal. That is mental sabotage. You are literally training your brain to panic. Your visualization has to end with you handling the situation successfully, not perfectly. Successfully. You see the threat, you execute your response, you ride away intact. If your mental rehearsal ends with you crashed in a ditch, you are programming failure into your neural pathways. Mistake number 3, they are not specific enough. They think I will brake if something happens counts as mental rehearsal. That is not a script, that is a vague intention. Your brain needs concrete actions. Which brake? How much pressure? Where are you looking? What's your body position? Generic responses get you killed when you need precision. Generic visualization creates generic responses. Your if-then scripts have to be detailed enough that your brain can execute them without conscious thought. Mistake number 4. They skip the emotional component. They run through scenarios like they are reading a technical manual instead of experiencing a life-threatening emergency. But the whole point is training your brain to function when it's flooded with adrenaline. Your mental rehearsal has to include the stress. Your heart rate needs to go up. You need to feel that spike of fear when the car pulls out or the deer appears. That is not pleasant, but it is necessary. You are inoculating your brain against panic by exposing it to controlled doses of stress. Mistake number 5. They do it once and think they are prepared. Mental rehearsal is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. Neural pathways strengthen through repetition. If you rehearse a scenario once a month, your brain will not recognize it when it happens for real. The riders who survive are the ones who have run through their scenarios hundreds of times. Their responses are so deeply programmed that they happen automatically. They do not have to think about what to do. They have already done it in their heads 1,000 times. Here is how you know if your mental rehearsal is actually working. When you are riding and you see a potential threat, your brain immediately starts running scenarios. You see a car at an intersection and your mind automatically calculates escape routes. That is your programming kicking in. If you are still riding along hoping nothing bad happens, you have not programmed anything. You are just another rider gambling with physics and statistics. Not programmed. Now let us build your personal reaction library. This is where mental rehearsal goes from basic survival to tactical advantage. Start by cataloging every close call you have ever had. That near miss with the pickup truck. The time you hit gravel mid-corner. The dog that ran into the road. Each one of these is a scenario your brain has already experienced under stress. Those are your high-priority rehearsal targets because they are statistically likely to happen again. But do not stop there. Study crash reports. Watch helmet cam footage online. Every accident video is a free lesson in what not to do and what might have worked instead. I am not talking about crash porn. I am talking about tactical analysis. What did the rider see? When did they see it? What were their options? How could mental rehearsal have changed the outcome? Here's the advanced technique that separates pros from weekend warriors. Rehearsing multiple escape routes simultaneously. When you visualize that left-turner scenario, do not just rehearse swerving right. Run through all your options. Swerve right, swerve left, hard braking, accelerate through. Your brain needs multiple preloaded responses because real emergencies do not always give you your first choice. The key is decision trees. If a car pulls out and there is oncoming traffic, swerve right. If a car pulls out and the right lane is clear, swerve left. If a car pulls out and both lanes are blocked, maximum braking and aim for the rear quarter panel. Your brain learns to assess multiple variables instantly and select the best available option. Use helmet cam footage to improve your scenarios and to rehearse realistic escape options under stress.